Ancient Rome vs. Ancient China, who would win? We've all heard the saying that the only thing that the Chinese invented that truly works is gunpowder. But this isn't entirely true. Before we get into who would win in a fight between ancient Rome and ancient China, let's take a look at what each of them has to offer. Military power. Rome's military was one of the most powerful in the ancient world. At its peak, the Roman army had around 500,000 soldiers, and because of its advanced tactics and discipline, it was able to conquer vast territories across 3 continents. In contrast, China's military was even more extensive, boasting an army of over 1 million soldiers during the Qin and Han dynasties. This massive force was responsible for suppressing rebellions, defending borders, and expanding Chinese territories. Despite their size, neither the Roman nor the Chinese military had any air support. They also both lacked nuclear weapons, biological weapons, and chemical weapons. So the fight would likely come down to raw manpower, technology, and strategy. China had a number of advantages in terms of technology and strategy. First, they invented gunpowder, which gave them a significant advantage in terms of weaponry. Roman weapons were mostly made of bronze or iron, while Chinese weapons were often infused with metals like tungsten and alloys of iron, making them stronger and more durable. The Chinese also used crossbows, which were more accurate and had a longer range than Roman battles. On the other hand, Rome had aqueducts, roads, and other public works that helped to supply and transport troops more efficiently. They also had a more advanced legal system and a standing army, which helped to ensure that they were always prepared for war. The Romans' most famous invention, concrete, could help them build structures like defensive walls or fortifications that the Chinese army would have a hard time breaking through. However, the Chinese were also known for their engineering skills, and they were able to build some impressive defensive structures of their own. Geography and logistics. Ancient China had a large and diverse geography, ranging from the Himalayan mountains to the Gobi Desert. This meant that the country was relatively safe from invasion, as potential attackers would have to contend with difficult terrain and harsh climates. Additionally, China's vast size allowed it to be self-sufficient in terms of food and resources, making it less dependent on trade with other countries. In contrast, ancient Rome was located in a much smaller and more densely populated region. This meant that Rome was more vulnerable to invasion, as enemies could more easily assemble large armies and cross the Italian peninsula. Additionally, Rome was heavily reliant on trade with other Mediterranean countries for luxury goods and resources like grain, making it vulnerable to disruptions in trade. Conclusion. So, who would win in a fight between ancient Rome and ancient China? It's tough to say for sure, as both civilizations had their strengths and weaknesses. However, if we had to choose a winner, we would have to give it to ancient China. The sheer size of its military, combined with its technological advantages and self-sufficient geography, make it a formidable opponent. Ancient Rome may have had a more advanced legal system and better infrastructure, but these advantages may not be enough to make up for the disparity in military power. Of course, this is just our opinion, and there is no right answer. What do you think? Who would win in a fight between ancient Rome and ancient China? Let us know in the comments below. Did you enjoy this video? If so, make sure to check out our other videos on ancient Rome vs. other civilizations. We have videos on ancient Rome vs. Greece, ancient Rome vs. Egypt, and many more. Thanks for watching.